this video, we are going to study more about the language form of simple present tense, and we're going to look into WH questions, open-ended questions. And if you haven't watched the part 1 and part 2 of this series of simple present tense videos, I recommend you to watch them first. Then you will have more idea of what present tense is and how to form a basic positive and negative statement in simple present tense. If you have already watched part 1 and part 2 of this series of videos about simple present tense, then I assume that you have the basic concept of how to make simple present tense statements. Now we're going to look into how to make questions, open-ended questions, WH questions. WH questions. This is the structure of a WH question and open-ended question in simple present tense. First, you always begin asking the question with a WH word, which are when, why, how, what, who, whom, which, these WH words. Then, after the WH word, we will add an auxiliary verb. Do, does, don't, doesn't. After the auxiliary verb, we need the subject. And then after the subject, we'll add the verb, but in bare infinitive, in the base form of the verb. And then you can complete the question with an object or any other complement. Then, how can we decide when to use do, does, don't, or doesn't in the WH question in simple present tense? Same as the positive or negative statements. To decide whether we should use do or does, don't or doesn't, it depends on which type of subject the sentence has. If the sentence has a third-person singular subject, then we will use does or doesn't. If the sentence has a non-third-person singular or plural subject, then we'll use do or don't. Let's take a look at this example. You can see in this example, the subject is a third-person singular subject, is a he. So we know that we need to choose does as the auxiliary verb. Therefore, this is how we should make this question. It begins with a WH word, why, and then followed by an auxiliary verb, does, and then the subject, he, and then the verb in bare infinitive, the base form. No s, no es, no ing, nothing after the verb, the base form. Go. And then complete the rest of the sentence. If you have an object, if you have a complement, you finish the questions with hiking every Sunday. So the complete question is, why does he go hiking every Sunday? So this is how we form a WH question in simple present tense with a third-person singular subject. Then let's look at another example. Another WH question in simple present tense with a non-third-person singular subject. So you can see that in this question, the subject is you. It's a second-person singular subject. So we need to choose don't as the auxiliary verb. So the question begins with why, the WH word, and then don't as the auxiliary verb, followed by you, the subject, and then the verb like, bare infinitive, the base form, no s, no es, no ing, and then with the object to end the question. So the whole question is, why don't you like dogs? And this is how we form a WH question in simple present tense with a non-third-person singular subject. One reminder in making WH question in simple present tense. In positive statement in simple present tense, normally we don't add do the auxiliary verb in the sentence. Normally, we'll just have the subject, the verb, and then the object, such as I like apples. Unless you want to emphasize that you really, really, really like apples, then you will add I do like apples. But in most situations, you don't need to add do, the auxiliary verb, into a positive statement in simple present tense. However, in positive question, positive WH question, you need to add do or does, the auxiliary verb, in the WH question. So you always ask the question with the WH word, and then do or does, and then the subject, and then the verb, and then the object. Like, why do you like apple? And if you miss it, and write like, why you like apple? It's actually a very casual spoken way of asking the question, which is not really grammatically correct in written language. So be careful.